All right, so it's time for sports, and Muftar has joined me, and certainly it's going to be about the Black Stars mainly, because yesterday they managed to beat South Africa 1-0 in a match that there's those who are saying that they didn't put up a very impressive performance, even though I'd say they played better than when they did against Ethiopia. But Muftar is here. Hello, Muftar.
Hi.
So your initial thoughts about the match?
I think the most important thing in the game of football was what was secured. I think the
3 points.
Yes, I think the attitude of the boys was incredible. Their desire to fight till the last minute, how they were able to hold on to the ball, to invite pressure, to invite fouls, that will kill time in the match. I think that was massive, massive from the boys yesterday. Anyone who watched the game... I'll say
the same for the South Africans, because they pressed on until the very last.
So if you press on and I'm able to hold on to the ball and you foul me, I kill time. It goes on.
Was that really a foul?
Are you referring to a penalty?
Yes.
It looks like it, but we are watching from a screen. The referee was much closer to the action. So if you are much closer to the action and you decide it's a foul,
anyway,
it's a foul.
So Nana Jima, who we spoke to last Friday, he was confident that Ghana was going to win.
Yes.
But I want to find out from him if he thought that was the way Ghana was going to win.
I'm not sure he would have thought that Ghana was going to win by that slim margin. Though he's always said that Milo is a one-goal project coach. Milo will personally not admit it, but Nana will tell you that, yes, he will not admit it, but we all know that that's the kind of coach he is. And I don't think Nana personally expected us to have that kind of... I think the second half, the boys sat back so early, which was a bit surprising. And I think that... Nana is here, so he can speak for himself. But I think
but then the other thing, too, is South Africa is complaining about officiating.
Yeah, they were complaining about officiating. At about 11 p.m. yesterday, my attention was drawn to the fact that they're going to petition CAF and FIFA. They're filing a protest against the outcome of the match. They want the referee sanctioned. They want the match replayed. I was made to understand that there were exchanges between officials of the Ghana FA and some other people. So they had WhatsApp messages they're going to use as evidence.
Oh, really?
Yes. Actually, I have one of those WhatsApp messages. The exchanges were between the video analyst of the Black Stars and a friend we understand is a South African. He just wanted to have an idea about how the South African goalkeeper reacts to penalties. And this is what they said they want to use as evidence to petition CAF and FIFA. So.
Anyway, so we're having a few more people joining us. We have Preku and Nana Jima. They both spoke with us on Friday, and they're joining. Hello, Nana. Good morning to you. And how's Hempa Great Ghana Limited?
I'm glad you've mentioned that. It's doing well under the circumstances. We are still waiting for government, but we're waiting patiently. Meekly wait and murmur not.
Yeah, I'm sure you can't say the same for Black Stars.
No, I can't. We've got to murmur a lot.
Nana, tell us about your opinion on the performance of the Black Stars. You had predicted we were going to win. Indeed, the team won. But did you foresaw the outcome of this game to just be Badasli?
But before Nana comes in, we'll be playing the highlights. But we also want to acknowledge Afreku. Join us. Hello, good morning to you, Afreku. Hello, good morning, Afreku.
Yeah, good morning to you all.
Yes, and so we'll be coming to you in a bit. We'll just want to see the highlights.
The highlights of the game.
And then we'll come to you.
We'll come to no problem.
It's a massive game coming up between Ghana and South Africa with the top spot in this section on the line. It will be decided here this evening. And, of course, whoever comes out on top will advance to the final round of African qualifying. Helped on by Ayew. But Jordan Ayew, strong play from the number 9. Jordan Ayew to the edge of the 6-yard box, and you have to say big credit to Terence Mashego for coming across to help put off Jordan Ayew there. The South Africans wanted the free kick. Daniel Kofi Kere who takes it. An out-swinging ball. It's just over the head of Andre Ayew. Ghana player goes down. It's a penalty. Daniel Amarte fouled in the box. And the referee reaching for his pocket. It's a yellow card for Rushin Daruk. Ayew scores. Coolly slotted home by the skipper. Ghana take the lead. And what a precious lead it is, because if it stays this way, then Ghana will top the group. Cleared by Ronwin Williams. Brilliant take by Percy Tau, and off he goes towards goal. Percy Tau, he's got support outside him. He goes for goal himself, and the shot is saved by Joe Wollacott. Well, this at least is better from the South Africans. 1-0 Ghana lead. Kere looking for the run of Kamaldeen Sulemana. Ronwin Williams having to come all the way out of his box here. Kamaldeen Sulemana could make it 2. Oh, he's put it wide. Well, Ronwin Williams had to take a risk. It was a big gamble from the South African goalkeeper and captain. Ghana have beaten Bafana Bafana by a goal to 0, and they've topped the group on goals scored.
And that is the most important thing in the game of football. What transpired was what Ghana needed to make it to the final round of the World Cup playoffs. And Nana, you saw that penalty. Was that a penalty in your opinion?
Well, it doesn't really matter in my opinion. I mean, I've been a referee before. I've been a Class 1 referee before in the UK. And it was a soft penalty. Let me put it that way. It was a very soft penalty. But more to the point, what really aggravates me is the fact that if that penalty hadn't been given, where would the goal have come from? That's what I think about, because it's okay us celebrating that penalty now, that penalty goal now, which was well taken by Andre Ayew. No problems with how he put that in the back of the net. But that's not going to be the type of scenario when one enters the World Cup. Indeed, that type of scenario may not even prevail when we play in the next round. And so, I don't want to stand very tall on that, because I think even though there was an improved performance, we still have a lot of work to do. And I thank our lucky stars that we must wait until March before we play whoever it is, because that really gives the coach enough time to really get everything right, because things are not right. Things are not right. I mean, I've read some write-ups where they give the player ratings, and Mubarak Wakasa was given 9 out of 10, and I think these are blind ratings. It's a blind rating, because the free kicks. I mean, he's robust and everything. Don't get me wrong. He gives his heart. He wears his heart on his sleeve when he's playing for the Ghana Black Stars. But his tackles,
can easily let down the team. Now, let me bring in your Preko into the conversation. Yeah, first of all, what do you make of the performance of the team yesterday?
Personally, I think
it's a match.
We won. The most important is we won. Sometimes we need to win ugly. Because I knew it was going to be very difficult. I knew it. I knew we would not have it easy. And I'm also happy because we average the African teams and then think they can be best right away. He took what's the name, Cameroon, average Cameroonian team, won the Afcon. With the average South African team, if you qualify to the next zone, that means he's telling us that
he has always beaten Ghana.
yes, that he can just pick an average any average African team and deliver. So personally, I think I'm just happy. But like Nana said, we need to do more. We need to do no more, because after winning this game, and don't forget we have the Afcon somewhere in January. January, and it depends because the playoffs will be somewhere March, right?
Yes, yes.
And if you don't do well in the Afcon, it might backfire if you meet a better country in the playoffs. So we have a lot to do. We have a lot to do. But
so yeah, if you were the head coach of South Africa seated on the bench, that penalty, what would have been your opinion on it?
Look, this in Africa, African terrain, you know, Ghana will not be the first to have a penalty a soft penalty like this, and will not be the last. Trust me, it's part of it. When you watch our league, you watch the African referees. These are part of the things that Hugo Bruce has to, you know, accept. It's part of us. Sometimes our referees, you ask yourself whether it's intentional or he just doesn't know, because they keep messing up.
Actually, there was a similar one in the game involving DR Congo and Benin, where the attacker was just standing behind the defender. They crossed the ball in front, and the referee pointed to the spot as a penalty. Maybe Ghanaians would even think that this one was even
really.
Yes,
we probably should be seeing that.
You should be seeing that. Echo should.
So you see where I'm coming from.
Yeah.
So you see where I'm coming from. It's just sometimes when you're on the bench, you ask yourself. Sometimes as if they don't know the laws of the game. Nana has been a referee before, and like he's saying, you know, when you are at the stadium or you are at the bench, it baffles you. It baffles you, but sometimes, like, it might go for you, you're happy. It might go against you, then you frown. So you learn to live with it. It's a difficult situation, but then the referees need to raise their level up, because sometimes it's so painful to lose from a decision, from a bad decision from a referee, when you know even a class 1
referee would have done
even
better. So, Nana, let me go to Nana. Now, Nana, do you think that this Black Stars team that we saw yesterday actually has what it takes to compete against the best in the World Cup? Should we make it?
No, you're just asking for a one-word answer. Can you give me a better question so I can Yeah, because you just want me to say no. I mean, why? You know, I'm articulate. Let me give you a roundabout, you know.
But you often have.
Let's give you another question. Okay, what will it take? What will it take for us to?
It's going to take a miracle. It's going to take a miracle. And you know, I mean, the thing about it is, as Yao said, we need a lot of work to be done. The work hasn't been done yet. We can celebrate this. We've got away with blue murder. But do we really want to go to the World Cup with the intention of winning the World Cup? That's also a key thing. That's, you know, the intention. What drives you to go to the World Cup? Is it a case of, okay, we'll go to the World Cup so we can make it the 3rd time or the 4th time, and it's just to be there?
So, Nana,
you know,
let me put that question to you. Should we go to the World Cup seeking to win the World Cup?
Well, that too would be unrealistic, wouldn't it? I mean, I told you the last time that it's a case of...
It's unrealistic. Most of the African countries, Nana, just before you continue.
We don't have a team, Muftau and Israel. We don't have a team. You know this. So,
but do you think there's any African country capable of winning the World Cup?
Well, I haven't viewed all of those who are qualified yet, but you know and I know that it's very far. It's something in the distance. We're not quite ready yet. Because of this thing, and I'll quote you, you talk about the African terrain. Yeah. Football is a global language. It's a universal language. So there should be nothing that's more significant about our terrain than any other terrain. Whether you come from China or Angola or Afghanistan or wherever, there's only one language when it comes to football. Every footballer knows what a corner is, what a goal is, what offside is, what a throw-in is. It's a universal language. It's nothing about your terrain. You play the game that has been set according to the rules universally. If you can't play to a point where you can be seen as one of the best, or at least competitive, what hope do you have of winning the World Cup? Where are we ranked? Where are we ranked? Is it in the 60s?
Yeah.
Is it in the 60s?
Yeah, no,
yeah.
In the world, we are around 54.
Okay, 54.
Yeah.
What country is ranked 54 or top 50 wins the World Cup? Which country?
But Nana, before we went to the 2006 World Cup and even the 2010 World Cup, we were not ranked as one of the best nations. USA were actually ranked 4th in the world. The Black Stars defeated them. There was Czech Republic who were ranked 2nd in the world. The Black Stars who were Ninos, let me put it that way, in this World Cup, were actually able to beat Czech Republic.
So there are upsets in football.
Yeah, there are upsets. Every time there are upsets. I'm not denying that. But you're not going to get an upset that takes you all the way to the final. Come on, boys. Wakey, wakey. Rise and shine. You know, look, there's a lot of work to be done. I'm happy that we've got to the next stage. We are all now worrying, who are we going to face? We definitely don't want to face any North African foes at all.
Yeah.
We would rather to face the Nigeria, the Mali, the Senegal. There we have a little bit more possibilities because of this African terrain. But other than that, I mean, when we get to the World Cup proper, do you think we're going to get this type of officiating that we got yesterday? Do you think it's going to exist and be in our favor like that? The answer to that is no.
All right.
It's going to be down to your talent, your formation, your mindset, and many other things. That's what it's going to be down to. It's going to be down to your ability to play association football, nothing else.
All right.
Because the officials there will be top class.
I'll come to you, Preko, and I want us to have the conversation about what needs to be done. What needs to be done to this current squad, or what needs to be done to ensure that we're in a much better position to face to compete.
A lot of work. A lot of work. First of all, we need to prepare, and not just prepare. We have to prepare adequately because we have to use the Afcon. We have to use the Afcon to prepare for the playoff. And this Milo will have time from now till January, and then use the Afcon. If we really want to win the Afcon, we need to raise our game, because trust me, we all know our performance are not up to standard now. But there was Afcon, and we've qualified for Afcon. He didn't qualify for the Afcon. Somebody did for him. So all he needs to do is to use the Afcon, and you need to bring in players, or you need to bring a squad that can compete.
All right, so
and the Ghanaians want to win the Afcon.
Okay, so yes, we may want to bring in a squad that can compete. Where are we going to get the players from, or where should we be getting the players?
It's up to the coach. It's up to the coach. That is our task. That's why he's in the country. He needs to, fish out, and if he can turn these boys into winning champions, that's what we're looking for. Yesterday, I saw something I haven't seen for a while. I saw character, especially in the first half. I saw character. I saw pressure and everything. I saw basics that we didn't do in the game against Ethiopia. Yeah. You saw they wanted to win. You saw, so even though we didn't create enough chance, but at least you saw character. You saw fighting. You saw the willingness. And these are parts that left us a bit. But yesterday, and the South Africans, I don't think they need to even complain. They shot themselves on the foot, because when you played against Zimbabwe on your terrain, and you couldn't beat them 3 or 4, and you think you can just come to the West, where things are very difficult. They know when they come to the West, the field, the atmosphere and everything, they find it difficult to cope with it. And so yesterday, what went against them, you saw at the beginning of the game, they couldn't put passes together, because they complained about the pitch, they complained about about the football, the football itself and everything. And I knew they would struggle. But finally, probably the last 15 minutes before the end of the game, they came in the game. They came, but it was already too late. It was already too late because then we were already up there. So all we needed to do is to just manage the game and defend very well. But as I was saying, we need to work. We need to work very, very hard. And everybody knows, even the boys themselves, they know. Ghanaians need the Afcon more than the World Cup. I tell you.
Okay. Nana Jemang, so I'm putting the same question to you. What needs to be done between now and the
match?
Yeah.
Yes. And Yao's suggestion also implies that we're not going to win the African Cup of Nations. Because it's true. Because if you're going to use the Afcon to prepare yourself for the playoffs, right, you're picking one out of the two. Shall we go into the Afcon to win, or shall we go into the Afcon to prepare ourselves because we know we're not quite ready? And I agree with him. Go in the Afcon and prepare because, going to the World Cup is much bigger than just winning the African Cup of Nations. We've waited 40 years, so we can wait another few more years. It can be 42 years.
And then we go with blood lock.
But yeah, I mean, other than that, when will the coach get the opportunity to look at the Ghana Black Stars again, to play a competitive friendly or things like that? That's also going to be few and far between. But so he's got to get everything right from now. I don't believe the selection is quite right because I don't believe that we actually have the best playing for Ghana.
Okay.
And there's Mohamed Salisu who plays in Southampton. He's a fantastic central defender. I don't know why he doesn't want to come. I'm not into forcing him.
Maybe I'll tell you that story back door. So let's continue with the conversation.
Thank you.
Why do you want to keep that away from everybody else?
Okay, so it's quite an interesting story, and it's more of a personal thing and more of spiritually related. So it's quite difficult to speak about such matters on air.
Okay.
Yes. So I'll tell you back door.
Please, I beg, let me know. So, I quite agree with Yao because where we are is between a rock and a hard place. I mean, we're not up to standard. That's the fact. As Yao says, the boys know it, the coaches know it, we all know it. And it takes us ranting as supporters. It takes us making serious noise to get them to perform the way they did yesterday.
So Nana, if you were to make changes to the team, who goes out and who comes in?
No, you don't put me on that spot. I love life. I love life. That's something I'll tell you back though.
But you've just started the example of Salisu. Salisu is a very good player who can come in and improve the team.
But I won't say who should come out. Salisu should come in, but I'm never going to tell you on air who should come out. I've learned my lessons very well from that. And we have a culture whereby if you disagree with someone, we take you as an enemy. There's no need for me, an old man, a budding old man, to have any football enemies at all.
I get that. But just before we go on the phone and speak to our fans, let me get something from your Preko. I remember that last week Friday when we were speaking, we did indicate that we should have a proper transition plan. And this is the time we have between now and January 9 for the African Cup of Nations, because our first game will be on January 10 against Morocco. If you are to offer an advice to Milo, what sort of changes do you think he should bring into the team? Like Nana was saying earlier, many people believe that the African Cup of Nations should give us an idea about the quality of our team and what we can do in the playoffs. So if you are to offer Milo an advice, what would that advice be?
Fish for strikers. Fish for strikers. Look for better strikers, because we know we are struggling to put the ball at the back of the net.
Yes.
And at the moment, Dede is not a striker, but he's the one doing that for us.
Yes.
Set pieces and so on and so on. But we need, we had Asamoah. We know we cannot have Asamoah back, but we had the Asamoah type we need a Samoa type who can put the ball at the back of the net. One goal can change the face of the face of every game. You know, Milo used to be the one-goal project. But if he's not putting the ball at the back of the net, whatever that you do will be irrelevant, you know. So you and mind you, from now to even December, from now to the Cup of Nations, he doesn't even you might not even get the players. They'll be there playing for their clubs, and maybe you might have them for 2 weeks before the commence of the tournament.
So what will actually happen is that most of the players based in Europe, what will happen is that after the Boxing Day matches, especially in England, they will not come back because the African Cup will be starting just the next 2 weeks. So what it means is that we are likely to have those players just less than 2 weeks to the tournament. But I'm sure the invitation would have been extended to most of these players. Yeah, gentlemen, please stay on the...
If you bring in new players, you have to test them during your camping period. You have to test them during your camping period as well. Are they going to be ready for the tournament? Because you need, if they are new, they might need international friendlies to prepare them. So it's kind of dicey. It's not an easy job for him at all, trust me. And Ghanaians will be expecting, you know, that at least we get to the finals or win the Afcon. Because nowadays, just participating in the Afcon is not enough for us. Yeah. We want to win it.
We've been there 10 times consecutively.
Okay, so we're getting onto the phone lines, and even before we announce the phone lines, people have already, we have some already, others calling already, but the numbers to call, 030-221-1691 or 2. And we have our first caller, Mohammed is calling from Wa. Hello, Mohammed.
Hello, Israel.
Yes, good morning to you. And what's your take on the Black Stars game yesterday and what we need to do to make an impact?
Good morning, and thank you for the opportunity. I think that as a Ghanaian, we can only be happy with the results yesterday, even though our guys did not play to our expectations. I think the most important point is being made by our panelists inside there. We need to scout more talent to this team. There have been a lot of talks about players such as Inaki Williamson.
Yes, Mohammed.
It's very difficult to bring them to board. But I think that the FA they can do to bring such people in. You see this guy, Tarek Lamte of Brighton. The right back is also a very good player. Our right back has an issue. This current Black Stars, I think the major problem we have is that there's no competition. The players are there that are guaranteed playing time. And that should not be the case going forward. We should try to bring in a lot of guys like Foselemte, Inaki Williams, guys like the Phantom guy, Mohamed Salisu, Nkatia, guys like Odoyenko, who are becoming eligible to play for Ghana. So at the end of the day, the people that we call on will not always be guaranteed. But Thomas Partey's position is also another area we have to look at critically because you see that in the absence of Thomas, the Black Stars always suffer. But I think we can only be proud and hope for the best for Black Stars going forward.
Okay, Mohammed, thanks very much. We appreciate your time. The Inaki Williams situation is quite dicey. I am aware his father has spoken to the GFA president. They've had initial conversations, but Inaki Williams insists he feels he's a Spaniard and not a Ghanaian. So it's quite difficult whether he'll come and play for the Black Stars. The last time his father spoke to the GFA president, Kurt, it was clear that there's the willingness to play for the Black Stars. His family is committed to getting him play for the Black Stars, but it's dependent on Inaki Williams himself. No one can force him. Now, let's speak to James, who is joining us to share his thoughts. Unfortunately, we've lost James on the phone. Most of you two have been linking up with us on social media, and if you've been having your say on the performance of the Black Stars, what we can do to ensure that the Black Stars is able to compete against the best in the world. Milo has said he wants to build a team that can compete against the best in the world. We speak to Jacob now. Jacob, thanks very much for joining us this morning.
Is this. I don't know whether you people have observed something.
What's
the
that?
Guy who committed the foul, did you see any action? in every football, whenever the foul is committed and then the player thinks that it is not genuine, you observe the cut.
There's going to be a reaction to that, to the decision of the referee.
Yeah, but the player should see some kind of other reaction or some kind of reaction to suggest that he didn't do it.
He didn't appeal.
The player was silent. We didn't take notice of that. And they were much closer to the action than we were observing. That is my point.
Okay.
What the player's attitude? He suggests that he was guilty. It's not much. He did it. But there was contact. So that's my point.
Okay. Thank you, Jacob. Thank you, Jacob.
Yeah. Okay, so let's get to Facebook. We have a number of comments there. So Yusuf Gafari says, with this slim margin win after a hectic performance, we have no business at the World Cup. And Charles says, thanks be to God for the victory, but the performance must be improved. Lion says, congrats, but I honestly hope Ghana should not make it to the World Cup. It will be a waste of money. Oh, wow. And there are 8 replies, which indicates that, okay, there's some banter going on.
Say it again.
Mohammed says...
it said dirty mind stinks, and also dirty mind always thinks very dirty.
Prostar says they will qualify and waste the money, and you can't do FOCO. Lion comes back and says, not my money, but yours, brother. And AJ says... How are you?
so and
it goes on and on.
The passion of the Black Stars
Sheku says South Africa was cheated.
Yes.
George says the referee did the job by cheating South Africa. It was not a penalty at all. This is why African referees don't get called up at the world stage. What a daylight robbery. Mohammed says every Ghanaian is quiet about the penalty because it favors us. No. Do we all recall that in the 2018 World Cup qualifiers, when Ghana played Uganda, there was this South African referee who was in charge, Daniel Bennett. Ghana scored a genuine goal. He denied the goal. And that goal could have possibly taken Ghana to the World Cup in 2018. So when people say Ghanaians are quiet because it is in our favor, I don't get it. Okay, let's get to the phone lines again. We have CK Yao
from Hohoi.
Calling from Hohoi. Hello, CK.
Yeah, good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, about the Black Stars. This time around, the team is so poor. The previous qualifications, I think 2006, 2014 World Cup that we went to, they play far better in terms of qualification. And this time around, look at how we are struggling to even score a goal. You create chances, few of the chances we create, our attackers cannot score. The first 15 minutes, we got 2 brilliant chances, one for Jordan and one for one other guy that I've forgotten about. Yes. And they cannot just put the ball at the back of the net. They have to depend on a penalty in our home ground to qualify for the next round of the stage. I think if they should even manage to qualify for the they are just going there to give 3 points and give a lot of goals to these European countries because we concede a lot of goals like 9, 5, and that is that they will come out from the group stage. So what is the purpose? Are we going there to just qualify to the World Cup and go and play in the World Cup and come back, or we want to go and achieve something?
All right.
If we're going to achieve something, then we have a long way to go.
Okay. Thank you very much.
If you just want to go for going sake, then that is I will go and donate goals and come back. Thank you.
Thank you very much, CK. We have Jacob. Jacob has been on the line for a while. Hello, Jacob. Okay, so we've lost Jacob. But you were just watching the...
Yes, I think it was a penalty.
Why?
The player actually dragged him. He dragged Amate.
Did you see that?
Yes. Amate also let himself down. The player dragged him. That's why he didn't appeal. He dragged him and took off his hands so quick. I think if they put it back, you would see it when the corner was taken. Pay close attention to it very well. He dragged Amate when the corner was hit in. And because the way he moved his hands so quick and Amate went flying as if he was swimming, people would think that it's actually a genuine penalty. It's a genuine penalty.
Okay, so like many have said, the referee was standing right there, so probably it's the referee.
He saw the action better. He saw the action better, and I think this is a chance. You see, someone was talking about 2006, 2008, 2010 World Cup qualifiers. Those days we had Asamoah Gyan, Matthew Amoah. who were very clinical in front of goal. This time around, we don't have that any longer. If we had that, we probably would be complaining about not finding the
so this is the one you...
This is the drag. The player dragged him and took off his hand. He dragged him. He dragged him.
All right, let's see it again.
Say it. He dragged, you have you seen? He dragged him and took off his hand. It's a clear penalty.
Okay, let's get on to the phone lines again. We have Musa calling from Obusokan. Hello, Musa.
Yeah, hello.
Yes.
Yeah, yesterday, the Ghana's match with South Africa, the match is very impressive, but the Ghanaian team is not complete because attacking, we were lacking because indeed, if going for the next round, we need to score a lot of goals. If not, we cannot be able to proceed to the World Cup.
Yeah.
And also the African Cup. We are not just going to participate. We are going in order to win. How are we going to win without having strikers who can be able to score a lot of goals? So I think there is more rooms for improvement.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you very much, Musa, who called us from Avosokan.
I think we should see the DR Congo penalty too.
Okay.
Against Benin.
Maybe let's see that. So let's get to see the DR Congo penalty.
DR Congo penalty against Benin. It was quite.
And of course, whoever comes out on top will advance to the final round of African qualifying. Helped on by Ayew. But Jordan Ayew, strong play from the number 9. Jordan Ayew to the edge of the 6-yard box, and you have to say big credit to Terence Mashego for coming across.
And a yellow card. Well, it's more than that. It's actually a penalty, would you believe? Jamerse Mbokane. And he does, brilliantly. Perfectly placed penalty. The home fans are delighted. Good head up. Oh, my word. Goalkeeper was at full stretch and still couldn't get near it. That could so easily have been 2-0. Whipped in. Good delivery. Over the bar. Well, they went to sleep there. Did the DR Congo defense. As I'm sure Kiasomba is reminding them.
And you saw that, quite an interesting one, DR Congo versus Benin. DR Congo needed a win to qualify to the final round, and indeed, they made it 2-0 against Benin. But let's go on the phone and speak to Abdul Aziz, who has joined us. Abdul, what do you make of the Black Stars' performance yesterday?
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Israel, let me tell you, if you go to the previous qualifiers, it's the same thing. African qualifiers is very difficult. It's almost about 40 countries who are playing the qualifiers. So let's come together and prepare our team very well. The more we are playing, going to forward, going to African Cup, we are still the team. Our core players, talking about Pache and Co. Look at Kudus. If they come and get out of the team, we go forward. Things will be better. So let's come together. It's a World Cup. So everything wants to be there. So let's come together. Kudos to the boys.
All right.
They fight very good fight. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Abdul Aziz. And yes, qualifiers can be difficult, but you also get to look at, you need an indication where you're going to go, and which is the conversation we're having. And we're also having the conversation about what should be done to put us in a much better position.
Yeah.
Because we're going into a competition that's going to, see, the world, you can say that qualifiers are difficult, but the playoffs are going to be even more difficult.
And the tournament itself
is going to be even more difficult.
You're
so
coming
that
against
is the
South
conversation.
Americans, you're coming against Europeans from the CONCACAF and all that. It's going to be really, really tough, the main competition itself. And let's wrap up the conversation with our guest, Nana and Yao Preko. Between now and January 10, when the Black Star plays its first match in the African Cup of Nations against Morocco. Let me start with Yao here. What should change?
What should change? That's a good question. Like I said, if we need to prepare very, very well, especially the 2 weeks that we might have before the tournament.
Yes.
We need to raise our game. We know, a tournament is a different ball game altogether. Players who come in from now to the tournament, players might get injured, players might lose form, players might gain form, and it will be different. But when the tournament starts, during the preseason, during the 2 weeks tour before the commence of the tournament, you have no excuse. You need to prepare. You need to get a very good team. Ghanaians, we always want the best. And we know, no matter how average our team is, we want to win.
Yes.
So there will be pressure on the coach, and mind you, this is Afcon. We've not won it for a very long time, and it's part of the reason why we brought Milo. So the pressure is going to be very, very high. He needs to prepare and get a solid squad, all-round squad that we know can participate and win it for us if we can.
But can we win it? Do you think we can win it? Do we have what it takes to win the Afcon?
At the moment, we need to work a lot. At the moment, everybody will agree with me that we are not up to there. We are not up to there. But like I said, average Cameroon
team won
the Afcon.
Yeah.
Sometimes you need luck. You need luck. We've been there. We've been to the finals twice, and with a good team, we didn't win it.
Yeah.
Who knows? It might be our turn for the luck to turn on our side. Yeah. Who knows? But you have to play a big part of it. You just can't go there and then
hoping that luck will see you through.
Yeah, you need to be there and do your own thing, and then if luck swing on your side, you might get to the finals and win with a penalty.
All right.
All right. We need to prepare very, very well.
Thank you very much, Yapreku, for Black Stars player. And I'll come to you, Nana Jemai, and I'll put my question in a different way. Because you say that we shouldn't go to the African Cup of Nations hoping that we're going to win. And as for the World Cup, we should completely forget about it. So the question I want to ask is, we shouldn't be looking at now. We should be looking way ahead and saying, how can we improve the Black Stars, or how can we have a worthy squad, maybe 4 years from now? And if we are to do that, can we get to put together a squad that can really represent us without having a solid local league?
Well, I think it's a very interesting question. I think we've never regarded the local league, and that's been a challenge, because I think that we could have had a few more players in from the local league. We've only focused on goalkeepers mainly. We've always brought them in, and we've disregarded those players who play out on the field themselves. It's a huge challenge because it's about us changing our mindset. It's about us changing our goals. I saw something the other day where a politician said that people wouldn't forgive this government if we didn't qualify and stuff like that. Our entire mindset needs to be changed about this game and how we approach it. I believe there is room for local content in the senior national team. And that's one of the reasons why I say we are not using the best players to represent Ghana. We don't seem to have the time to build a local talent. We have a local Black Stars. What are they there for? What does it mean being in the local Black Stars? Shouldn't that be the next step to going into the Black Stars proper. But what do we see? Absolutely nothing comes from that. Once they play a little Mickey Mouse tournament and they don't win, they're disbanded. We need a complete new mindset, and it starts from the GFA going up, because they're the root. They are the source, right? For this team that we have now, I side with Yao once again. There's nobody there to score any goals. There is no striker, whether it's Richard Boachi-Yedom, Jordan. I can't even name anybody else because there's no strikers.
Emmanuel Boatin.
Who? Who?
Emmanuel Boatin.
Look, no, I mean, we've got to take it serious. There must be a rebuilding program. We must rebuild. Look, all this thing about the Black Stars, we are the Brazilians of Africa and all these things, let's throw that stuff away. Those players who were the Brazilians of Africa, may their soul rest in peace, because many of them have departed from us.
So, in other words, we are still living in past glory, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. It's true. They've departed. We need to rebuild, and the rebuilding effort needs to start now. I mean, look, as I said to you the last time, I can't employ a coach just for a year or a year and a half, because that shows you my intention in terms of short, medium, and long-term objectives. Yes. Clearly, what we are looking at now is just a short-term objective. That's getting to the Afcon and getting to the World Cup and doing whatever happens there and then coming back. We have to say, and you as journalists have to say, speak the truth, right? Because the performance yesterday was shambolic. It was, right? We don't want to say about the penalty, oh, Dave Bennett did this, so we can have that, and blah, blah, blah. You can't win the African Cup of Nations like that. You can't represent the country very well like that. Let us build a team, a formidable team, that once again we can boast about our prowess in Africa. A team that we don't have to guess and come about whether or not we stand a very good chance of winning the African Cup of Nations. A team that can go out there and perform every time. A team that doesn't need the supporters to really get on their back and criticize them down to the hilt before they turn up and give us a little bit of a performance. All right. We must rebuild. We've got to rebuild. And that rebuilding process should start now. The African Cup of Nations is not within our reach. The World Cup is in Pluto. So, you know, why don't we just sacrifice this time and build a proper, enterprising team? We've got some young players there. Some of the young players are there, and we can see their naivety on the pitch. They need a lot more coaching. They need a lot more grooming. And I'll tell you something as well, because we talk about where players play. And I think it's very important because, as I said last week, a lot of the players that we have in the team, or many of them, they play, let me talk about Amati and Partey. They play in clubs that have a proper football philosophy. They play in clubs where the players around them complement them 100% and assist them in making them look good. When you take away that from the equation, then you've got an ordinary player. All right. You've got an ordinary player that can't stand alone. That's true. It's true. The only player that I know who could stand alone was Michael Essien. He was a box-to-box player, robust in the air, wicked on the ground, lethal shots. He scored the goals. He did all. We have not come to that standard again in any of the players that we have in this team right now. Yeah. None. We must rebuild. We must establish a firm football philosophy and apply that philosophy, not just for a day or not just for a competition, but for a lifetime.
Okay, right. Nana, we appreciate your time. And between now and December, going into January, we'll have a perfect picture of what the Black Stars would look like for the African Cup of Nations and what would also set the tone for the final round of the World Cup qualifiers in March. Government has got a project for the African Cup of Nations. We'll be sharing that with you if we get the whole document. But the discussions behind the scenes are that there's this African Cup is a governmental project. They said 40 years. they use some biblical quotes in their backdoor meetings.
40 years in the wilderness.
So that is what they're saying.
Yeah.
So this is the time for us to win the African Cup of Nations.
So I raised the issue about the local league because, you know, I mean, I'm not one of those football pundits, but I look at these things, you know, in the developmental way. You should have a base.
Yes.
If the local league is not performing, if we're having players who can really be rated, you know,
among the best in the continent, it's really tough.
Yeah, we need to have a local league. And the local league typically would excite the young people.
And you know what interesting? You know where you're going to. When the first director of football, Ohene Jan, set up the Ghana Premier League in 1958, he said, we are setting up a competition that will excite fans and become the hub of producing talents to feed the national team. That was exactly the plan of Ohene Jan in 1958.
But that is not happening.
It is gone.
You can't plug the players from...
It is gone. We've inverted the pyramid. So this time, the focus is on the Black
Thank you
Stars.
very much for joining us for this conversation, Muftar, and to Nana Jimai Apreku for joining us for the conversation. It's been an interesting one. I'm sure the conversation, as I always say, will continue in your homes, in your cars, in your offices. Thank you very much, Muftar. But still the AM show.